Welcome, Twitch viewers, to the quarterfinals of BuckILoL's Autumn 20 matches for the Ohio State Intramural Leagues. We are just about to get started in this week's set of matches for FA Horseshoe against Defenders of, I can't read it off of the, but what does it say in the bracket? Defenders of Rat City.
Name.
And first off here, we've got a first pick Leona, definitely interesting. Support is not necessarily the most contested pick, especially for first pick on blue side, but if that's what they feel most comfortable on, it's not necessarily a bad pick, Leona being a good pick in the current meta. What do you guys think, KJ?
I mean, I like Leona for the hard engage. You know, they might be just trying to go for like Samira, is what I'm thinking. Samira Leona's good combo.
What do you think, Ike?
It's not very traditional first pick, that's for sure. Most teams nowadays I see are like going for counter pick support just because of how important it is in the bot lane. But I do agree with KJ. I think the engage and just how good of a champion Leona is right now is good. But we'll see how they counter it going into the draft.
So the red team first pick Darius, pretty interesting. It's kind of a lane bully, but like I don't know if blind picking it is the best option. You're gonna pick Poppy into it.
They are hovering Poppy.
Poppy's not necessarily the strongest pick into the Darius, especially, if the Darius gets the Black Cleaver potentially. I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to, even with the Triforce. Just his DPS coming off of the bleed can really make that matchup really troubling.
They do opt with the Poppy.
Interesting to see there.
Ooh,
Garen.
This could be
Garen.
a Poppy jungle and Garen top.
Oh.
Interesting indeed.
Well, the Garen Darius matchup is also Darius favored, so
yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, they did put some bans on their top laner, banned Riven and Shen, so maybe he's just picking like something safe, simple.
Yeah, and Defenders of Rat City got a very beefy composition, which can be very helpful, especially into the Senna, who maybe if the Senna is building a lot more lethality, champions like Leona, Poppy, Garen have the ability to build lots of armor or even have inherent resistances within their own kit. And Senna in general, who doesn't have the highest DPS relative to other AD carries. We'll be interested to see going later into the game in team fights how that will impact both of these compositions and how they interact with each other.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing if she decides to build the Black Cleaver Grasp setup for Senna. Might be pretty good.
Yeah, both teams here are lacking a lot of AP, so most of the bans coming out right now are AP mid laners.
And that'll definitely be the case. We'll have to see what the mid laners pick up there will definitely be very important. We'll have to see from FA Horseshoe, especially without the DPS that they really have right now, going against such a beefy team, they'll have to pick some champions that have some stronger damage, so they're able to deal with that. And then Defenders of Rat City, figuring out, with their AD carry pick, what are they going to pick to be able to deal with something like the Darius and the Nautilus who are going to be running at them, especially the Nautilus with such a great engage. And now the blind pick Silas.
Blind picking sounds good. It's definitely interesting. Malzahar.
Yeah, they're hovering Malzahar.
Not sure about this matchup. I haven't seen it that often.
I have not seen it that often either. I would assume it's Malzahar favorite though. Silas has a lot of trouble clearing waves early.
It's true. Probably just gonna go for the shove.
Yeah, they do pick Malzahar here. They have a very heavy pick comp on the blue side. You can lock one person down very easily.
Yeah, with the Leona, with the Malzahar. I mean, you press Malzahar R on the Darius, and then you combo that up with the rest of the team, and no matter how tanky the Darius is, he will definitely be taken down relatively quickly, and will feel as useless as it can be with the
Kaisa.
Kaisa pick here for a little bit more AP damage on the blue side.
And that's going to be set jungle?
I believe so. I don't see Silas jungle that often, so I would assume it's set.
I'm just
I do
wondering why they
believe
saved the
last
jungle
week
for last.
actually, FA Horseshoe did pick the Silas jungle. Sheldon did, and he did relatively well. I think he ended with a KDA of 2 or 3. Unfortunately, his team lost, but it wasn't necessarily because he was inting. But yeah, I think it's a Silas jungle and a set mid. So FA Horseshoe with a very, very low DPS composition. And I think they're going to have a lot of trouble against defenders of Rat City.
I think the champion to look out for here is Kaisa this game, who's really the only incredibly high scaling champion on really any of these teams. You have the Senna passive, of course, but with defenders of Rat City's team, the Kaisa is just so important.
Yeah,
Kaisa falls
especially
behind, they have no damage.
Exactly. To deal with the Darius, who is going to be relatively tanky, the Nautilus, really all of the champions except for the Senna. If this Kaisa does get behind, it'll become a huge problem, and it will be important. Even if the Kaisa is doing well, how is this AD carry going to do? How is he going to position against, the Silas E for the engaged Nautilus ultimate? Potentially a Darius flank or a set flank. It'll definitely be very important how he maneuvers himself going into the mid game and into these fights.
Yeah, this definitely feels like an AD carry centered comp for the defenders, since you got Poppy to block a lot of actually dashes on the enemy team. Wait, does Poppy W work on settled?
It does not. Settle makes you unstoppable, I believe. Yeah.
I think it might work on the initial before he picks someone up.
Oh,
you think
maybe.
is he unstoppable? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we'll have to see. But it definitely works on Silas E. Definitely works on Nautilus Q.
Yeah, and even just the Poppy ult is good. You can maybe get set out of your team after the ults.
Yeah, and even the Garen silence, the Malzahar ult, Leona CC will be incredibly important in being able to protect this Kaisa from FA Horseshoe's engage.
And both teams are just super tanky, and they also both have a lot of pick potential. So I feel like it might just be up to whoever plays Vision better, who gets the picks. Snowballs a game.
Yeah, I'd agree entirely. I feel like their team is very, both teams actually are very 50-50. If one side falls extremely behind, they just don't come back in the game for a while. Darius is very hard to play when you're behind. The same can be said for Garen. They're just kind of meatballs, I guess, to sit in the front if they're behind.
Yeah. And, there's just not much damage in this game.
No.
It's really up to Kaisa and Silas to get snowballing. Other than that, no one really does a lot of consistent DPS.
Yeah, for sure. And look at all those ults that Silas is going to be able to take. The Leona ult, which we've seen. I remember one of those plays at the World Championship. I can't remember who was playing Silas.
I think it was Caps.
Yeah, I think it was Caps.
Yeah, it was
Leona
Caps,
has. Oh man, it has a 1.0 AP ratio that Silas, and an AP Silas loves. The Malzahar ultimate, even to a lesser extent, a good Poppy ultimate could be really useful, and we'll definitely be interested to see how he utilizes the different which ultimates that he chooses and how he utilizes them.
This is just a really interesting team comp. I'm really excited to see how it plays out because this is not something you see. Most of these matchups you don't see in any competitive play really. Depending on people are always prioritizing Graves, Lilia, Oriana, those really strong, really good team fight, just very high priority picks. But these you have the Garen and Darius, which I have not seen in a while. You have Malzahar, which I have not seen in so long. Against the Silas, you have the Kaisa Leona against Senna Nautilus, which is probably the most meta thing that we've seen from this draft.
Yeah, and if there's anything we've learned from normal games or even gold or silver solo queue, it is anything but meta. You see these champions like Darius, like Garen, like Malzahar that are easier to pilot from these players' perspectives, but then on the flip side, champions that if they get behind, can really become a problem for them. Darius essentially just becomes a walking bar of health that doesn't really have a ton of useful CC, but doesn't really have a ton of useful damage either. And the same thing with the Garen. And it'll definitely be interesting to see the top lane matchup. If one of these players gets a solo kill, and is able to snowball that advantage, in the bot or in the top lane, a Garen with a fed Garen against their composition, they will not have the damage to deal with him, and he'll just be able to run it over. I remember TF Blade was playing some Garen a couple months ago, and with the Conqueror, with that damage, he just becomes completely unkillable. But we'll just have to see.
Yeah, it really doesn't look like if Garen gets ahead, it really doesn't look like Red Side has any good response for it. He just kind of rolls over like so much.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember that Garen W just gives them so much tenacity, so it's going to be able to run through their whole team comp, even if they have a lot of stuns.
Yeah, I mean, a ton of CC coming out from the Nautilus set, even the Silas in the right situation, but Garen has the ability to deal with it handedly. Ike, so out of one of these two compositions, which team do you favor and why?
To be honest, I really favor Defenders of Rat City. They have so many tools they can use to get ahead, and especially with how reliable Kaisa damage is. If she is ahead against that team, it just feels like you get the Kaisa ahead, or potentially even the Garen, and it kind of just becomes incredibly difficult for FA Horseshoe to play. And there's just not much reliable damage for FA Horseshoe either. Like if you look at it, Senna doesn't come online until she gets items and get those stacks. I would say again, like KJ said earlier, Silas is just like he needs to step up this game. Otherwise, FA Horseshoe is just going to have a very hard time playing against their team.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also going to favor the defenders since, I mean, like I said, the Silas is their only like threat of snowballing, and he's in the jungle, and Silas jungle has been nerfed a lot. His clear is really bad. So I'm really interested to see how the jungle matchup goes because Silas, I think, is going to be really low. He's not going to be able to like full clear. And on the other hand, the Poppy is like a lot more healthy in the jungle. I've definitely seen some Poppy in high-elo games. So it's, it's a little bit more meta. But yeah, I mean, both junglers aren't that good though. Because, the meta right now is to just damage junglers that can snowball and farm. But both of them, Poppy's not going to do that much damage. I mean, unless she goes warrior. But yeah.
Poppy, I don't know if we can see this on stream yet, but Poppy's actually running Hail of Blades.
Ooh.
Which is very interesting.
I believe Hail of Blades was there was a Korean jungler. I can't remember. Played on Fnatic. Why can't I remember his name? He was the AP Jarvan. Spirit was playing some Hail of Blades, I believe a couple months ago. I remember seeing over the summer. I think mainly the reason you pick up that kind of rune is it helps with your skirmish potential as a jungler with Poppy, and it helps your 2v2s, your 3v3s. But definitely interesting pickup, and I will agree that while I do favor Defenders of Rat City's draft for sure, these games are not as these are intramural teams. The average ranks of these players being roughly around gold. And you might see a situation where the Kaisa who might have the necessary damage, the necessary gold, and the DPS to show up where he mispositions, and he gets caught out. Post 20 minutes, with a Nautilus soul to set a good set engage or a set flank, Darius or Silas, any of that CC. But we'll just have to see. It can definitely go either way.
Yeah, that's the scary thing. I feel like the defenders are putting all their eggs in the Kaisa basket, and I mean it's understandable. I believe their Kaisa is Diamond 4, the highest rank in this game right now, so it's kind of up to him. A lot of responsibility.
We'll see red side pushing into
Ooh.
side jungle. Almost with a missed hook.
Nautilus is looking sad about that hook.
Yeah, very sad.
Definitely unfortunate. KJ, what paths do you think you want to see out of the Poppy and out of the Silas in the early game?
Well, if I was the Silas, I would probably look for a 3 camp kind of clear, because again, like I said, it's an unhealthy clear. If you try to full clear on Silas, and you like, it's a struggle for him to actually be in the jungle. So he wants to get level 3 as fast as he can, and just try to get on the map and make some plays. And I don't know, the Poppy, she can do either or. I mean, she could full clear pretty healthily, or she could look for like a cheese gank, level 2, or even like level 3 or 2. Would be surprised to see a level 2 gank, but it definitely could happen with Hellblades.
It'll definitely be interesting. Both of these junglers starting on blue side, potentially looking to path towards the top lane, which will be incredibly important. With both of these matchups, the Darius and the Garen, one of the main reasons we don't see these champions at higher elos is that they do become very snowbally. You know, a fed Darius or a fed Garen with these juggernauts can become almost unstoppable. But a Garen or Darius that's behind becomes, I mean, practically useless, to be quite honest with you. Will be interesting to see how this matchup goes. It looks like, at least from the Poppy's perspective, we will see a full clear. Oh, we've got an engage in the bottom lane.
And this is Ignite coming out from Leon. This might be first blood. Oh, the flash coming out from Nautilus and the heal coming out from the Senna. Not a very good trade for FA Horseshoe already.
Yeah, they are up in the Ignite, but they've lost their flash and their heal. So a Poppy gank could net them a kill. Poppy is looking bot lane.
Poppy looking to cheese a bush here. Looks like she will be sitting in the alcove waiting.
Horseshoe does have the bush warded though, so they will see them.
Yeah, calling a Poppy off here.
So Poppy did an interesting pass. She went red, Raptors, Krugs. Oh.
Almost looking in, Leona going. Senna walking up in a really dangerous spot here. Poppy coming in, getting the passive off.
Okay. Well, that was probably best case scenario for Horseshoe. They don't even burn the flash in Senna. They waste a lot of time. I'm interested to see if Silas might go for the invade. If he notices that. Yeah, blue buff is up, but it doesn't look like it.
Darius walking into the top side river. If you look at your minimap, he actually might be collapsing on mid here.
Malzahar does not have a lot of mobility. Shit, not.
Nope, they're just walking back. He didn't lose it too much of that though. If you look topside, you can briefly see on the minimap that Wave is actually pushing back into him, so I doubt he lost too much for doing that.
Definitely no harm, no foul. Looking at this early game, we got the Kaisa, who, as we talked about before, is so important for this draft. For defenders of Rat City's composition, able to secure an early advantage, being able to burn the flash off the Nautilus. However, despite that, Poppy spent a large amount of time sitting top lane, as you talked about, KJ, with that interesting pathing that put him in the bot side of the map with his entire top side taken, and then Silas is able to get a free clear.
Taking a trade again. Nautilus doesn't have flash. He might die here. We're taking a peek back top side.
Oh. Got a Poppy gank top lane.
Poppy has flash.
Flashes.
He doesn't get that.
Barely
Oh
missed
my
the
gosh.
angle.
Barely. Did not get the stun off onto the wall.
That was a good attempt, though. I respect that.
Yeah. You cannot help feel sad about that, though. She's wasted so much time trying to gank these lanes, and if you look, it is level 4 to 4 for the junglers, but I would assume that Silas is just up in XP a really big amount.
Yeah, right now Silas is up 1 camp. The Poppy, again, wasted a lot of time, but it's honestly not that bad.
Senna is going in here. Nautilus is getting caught out. They are going on to Kaisa. First blood coming in for blue side. Senna does flash in and get the finish off kill on Kaisa. Now it is just a battle of early game Senna versus Leona. Leona is just retreating to her turret, and Senna is just getting free souls off of that.
It does look like the Senna's going to back, and the wave is pushing into the Kaisa. So, you know, with a 10 CS advantage and the wave pushing into her, a good position for this bottom lane, despite the fact that it was only a 1-for-1.
I mean, yeah, Kaisa did die, but the wave is set up so it's going to slow push into blue side. So they're going to get more CS, and Nautilus ended up picking up the kill with Ignite. So she's going to get even more gold lead from that.
Yeah, like we said before, just getting that early gold on Kaisa and getting her ahead is just so necessary for Rad City's win here. It's going to be a trade in the top side. Garen is retreating.
Oh,
Darius with a flash. He's going incredibly aggressive. Garen, wow, Darius just gets a kill on the Garen.
Garen was a little bit greedy there with his flash and ended up getting punished.
Good on Darius, though, for knowing his limits.
Yeah, for sure.
A very risky play, but it worked out very well for him. And we'll burn the teleport here.
Silas is looking bot.
Nautilus
misses the hook.
They are separating here. Malzahar is teleporting in from the backside. This is going to be a 4v3. This is looking so terrible for FA Horseshoe. Bullet coming out into Senna. Silas is just caught. It looks like a double kill for... They just didn't...
Yet another kill.
Yeah.
This is looking pretty tragic.
It is.
We didn't touch on this in the loading screen, but Set has Ghost. And, you know, that's probably not what you want to see in a competitive environment.
No, Ghost is it's a very greedy, playing for your lane for the most part. Teleport just feels, I would say, much better in the team environment, but Ghost, it allows you to run in there and, you know, get those hooks and get those ults in, but without that teleport, it's just so hard to make those moves on the map.
Oh.
Showstopper coming out from Set. I don't think that'll be enough. Kaisa finishes with the kill. Silas has to flash away as well. It is just looking very bad for Red Side here.
Yeah, and Kaisa with the 3-1, currently up with the wave pushing towards him. Definitely not looking good for FA Horseshoe. Will be interesting to see what they're able to do. The Silas on the flip side hasn't necessarily been in too bad of a position. Unfortunately, he is 0-1. And has kind of been, for the most part, farming. We'll have to see how Sheldon does. You know, once the Silas isn't very strong right now, but once he's able to get some items, the Runic Echoes, and then maybe later into, you know, maybe it depends on what items he builds. Or even the Silas, or not Silas, the Set who isn't necessarily that behind in CS, and how strong he can become. Looks like he's not going for the full tank build that we necessarily expect from the mid lane. But instead going for the higher damage, maybe a split push type of build with the board. Maybe look for a black cleaver. And if he's able to get some gold on himself, unfortunately we might not be able to see that. He's currently sitting in a disadvantage right now. 1 kill down. And but we've got an engage in the bottom lane.
We go. Poppy is level 6 here. They still do not have any flashes on the Senna. Nautilus does have flash. He might be able to get out of here. Nautilus flash coming out. The dredge line hitting the wall.
Oh, good escape.
To burn. Yeah, they only managed to burn a Nautilus flash from that, and Poppy did ult there.
Yeah.
Oh, the Senna heal did come out as well. This is exactly what we wanted to see, though, from Rat City. We know that they really need to get this Kaisa ahead because she's really the only reliable form of damage, and she is 3-1 right now, sitting on a 7. Pardon me, math is hard, 6 CS lead.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a great job of playing to their advantage, or their team comp. They built it around the AD carry, and they're really committing to it. And I'm actually kind of disappointed to see that Poppy is ahead in CS, despite spending so much time bot lane. And I've just been paying attention to the stylist, and he hasn't been farming. He could have just full cleared back to back. But he kind of just, he's been kind of like doing nothing, and it's really just gonna be detrimental, I think.
Yeah, it really will. I mean, one of the things, if defenders of Rat City spend so much time, if the Poppy spends so much time in the bottom lane, they've got to be able to pick it up somewhere else. and it's where we expected in the Silas. You know, where he needs to be able to get that farm out into full clear, like you said. Um, and unfortunately, it does mean that he's only even in CS. However, the Silas now has his runic echoes, and we'll have to see if he goes for some plays here, looks for any type of advantage with that power spike that he has, and will be interesting because they've got to start doing something now, or else they're going to be in a lot of trouble with how strong this Kai'Sa is looking to become.
Rat City is sending 4 up here for the Rift Trail. They must really want this objective. Now they are not. They are putting everything into getting this Rift Trail, sparing no expense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they actually are probably going to lose some plates bot lane. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the call here from Rat City. I feel like they could have at least kept Kai'Sa bot. I'm not sure that FFA Horseshoe's bot lane has enough damage to dive that Kai'Sa with full sums and ultimate. It seems very unlikely. But
I mean, I don't even think they needed that much. Like, their bot lane probably could have stayed bot lane. I mean, they saw Silas on a ward. They have his entire bot side warded. He's not contesting, and they still
Silas sitting in the bot bush.
Cool.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to be. It is only going to be one plate. Silas is going to be looking to get caught out here. There's a very high possibility Leona misses. Oh, Leona with the ultimate. They might look to go back in here. Leona igniting. Silas steals the ult. They're using so much on Kai'Sa. She is getting chunked out very hard, but she is just too far ahead. It does not matter how much damage they put off onto her. Senna flashing. Oh, this is just so bad for FA Horseshoe. Kai'Sa again with the BM.
Yeah, the Silas did get his ult off, but he just didn't get his ability rotation. He didn't get the lifesteal on his W, so he just dies before he can do anything.
It's really just not enough damage from Horseshoe. They hit everything onto that Kai'Sa and they still couldn't finish her. Silas, still the Leona ulted the Kai'Sa. We had the Nautilus hook, we had the Nautilus ignite, and it just still wasn't enough. Senna just does not do any damage right now.
Yeah, and I mean that was FA Horseshoe's that was their opportunity to be able to come back into this game, being able to take advantage of potentially the misplay Herald rotation where they moved their bot lane, top lane, or top side, whereas they probably could have just kept their bot lane, able to pick up a couple of power plates and deny some CS, and if they were able to win that 3v3, it would have been huge, but unfortunately, like you said, KJ, the Silas wasn't able to get off his rotations, the abilities that he needed. They were able to get the Leona ult comboed into the Nautilus ult onto the Kai'Sa, but without the necessarily Silas damage, without you know, the Senna who was particularly weak in that situation. It just wasn't enough, and Kai'Sa was really able to
coming out. I feel like we've seen this before. This is the exact same play Rat City made literally 5 minutes ago. And now Horseshoe will be paying the price. Another double kill.
Again, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Sa has used his ghost once this game.
I do not believe so.
It's just I don't think it's an optimal summoner to go into Malzahar. Malzahar's just going to sit at his tower and wait for those TP plays. He's at no risk.
Yeah, that's exactly what we just saw. They might be looking to make a play here topside. Silas and Set are top, but it just looks like Silas is going to be counter jungling. We do have the item completion here for Set with the play of the Rune King, although, like you said before, he just doesn't have any pressure on the map to use that. The Unifash will be coming out. They are just diving Senna. She's just instantly dead. There's an 8-1 Kai'Sa here.
Silas is finally punishing the Poppy by taking the topside jungle, but it just doesn't matter at this point. The damage is just too...
Another solo kill coming out here for the Darius. Garen flashing after the fact.
Yeah, the Garen likes to save his flash. He's a little greedy with those.
I guess so. And Garen in this game, just with how ahead his mid and bot are, you really just have to not die, so...
Yeah.
The dredge line coming in from Nautilus.
Nautilus is looking for the solo kill, I guess. Oh.
Stopwatch.
Stopwatch comes out. Started to and
Kai'Sa just runs in and kills everybody. Sal's flashing over the wall, stealing the Kai'Sa ult. That might not be the most optimal thing to do. He just ults away.
Oh.
Still not enough damage. He might die here. Kai'Sa might pick up the kill. No, Sal's does get the shutdown and the double kill coming out. That is huge for FA Horseshoe.
That is exactly what they needed to have a chance at coming back in this game.
Darius learning from the Garen's mistakes. Opting before it's too late.
Opting to flash before it's too late. Oh,
There's the brawl coming out
we
here.
gonna see a
Malzahar
ghost?
taking a big chunk. The showstopper coming from Set. Wow, what a play from Set.
And now FA Horseshoe starting to come back, getting the necessary shutdown they needed from the Kai'Sa. And again, being able to get some kills from around the map. The set that we just saw, the Darius sitting at 2-0 in the top lane. It does not look like that they are going to roll over like we might have expected 5 minutes ago.
yeah, the dynamic of the game just completely changed there. The game looked a little hopeless, but now, you know, I actually think they have a chance.
Dude, Silas able to pick up the Merc Treads on top of Hextech Revolver and Kindle Gem. That is huge for him. He is going the... I don't know why the word's not coming out for me, but he is going for an early power spike.
Protobelt?
Item. Yeah, Protobelt. I don't know why it escaped me. Items are hard.
Good. Okay.
Kai'Sa is topside, and Leona, they're looking to...
Bottom.
Oh no, Darius is way too pushed up here. He's probably just going to die to Kai'Sa. Yep, another kill coming out to Kai'Sa, and there's just no response on FA Horseshoe's side.
Defenders are just four-manning like crazy. Getting a lot of picks in these side lanes.
Poppy seems to be a little cut out here. She is going to slam Silas into the wall. Set not able to find the hook. Leona ult coming out, Kai'Sa ult coming out as well. They're putting everything into the set. And it looks like he is just going to die under turret. Poppy has to flash away. The Silas is going to be ulting here and out.
I would have liked to see him take a Leona ult here. Maybe they could have looked for a revenge
Might still be
play.
looking. Rat City, Kai'Sa with the heal after Silas missed. Might have just been nerves on that one.
Yeah, you don't want to give away another shutdown to the Silas. That would be awful.
Now another, what, 800 gold to Silas would be so very bad for Rat City.
Yeah, and despite the fact that the Silas maybe wasn't as efficient as he could have been in the early game, it being able to create maybe not a gold advantage, but to start farming up, and Silas with that late game, if he's able to get the Runic Echoes, the Proto Belt, and maybe a Zhonya's or a Rabadon's getting later into the game, would just become completely the late game Silas that we all fear, with all of that ability power from his items. But still, definitely defenders of Rat City favored. They're in a position, I would say, to win this game as long as they're able to protect the Kai'Sa. Keep getting the Kai'Sa to be able to farm up, finishing the Manamune, and then that Stinger, which we presumably expect to be turning into Nashers, which will give him the 3 upgrades for the Kai'Sa on his Q, W, and E, and give him that power spike that will... I mean, we've seen already, even with this advantage, how strong the Kai'Sa can be with the necessary items. I mean, that's Kai'Sa's... That's her strength at around 3 or 4 items when she really starts getting essentially as strong as she can, and hopefully we'll see the defenders of Rat City be able to finish out the game from one of those fights.
Yeah, it feels like Horseshoe is kind of just sitting on a time bomb here. The later the game goes, the more scary Kai'Sa just becomes, and they're not getting that shutdown and pushing those advantages where they can find them. It honestly might just be very, very difficult for Horseshoe, even with the gold they have right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely in a tough spot because Kai'Sa, I mean, even now, she's up an item and a half, and her Miramana is going to come in 100 and...
Kai'Sa ult coming out, the Leona is coming out. Nautilus is going to be getting caught out here. He is going to die to the Kai'Sa. It's just another kill. Silas using the Leona ult a little prematurely, it seems. He might just die here. Leona flashing forward and igniting. Kai'Sa is able to pick up another kill. Double kill coming out for the Kai'Sa.
Oh, Poppy.
Darius will be there. Darius getting the reset off. This might be FA Horseshoe's fight to win. Darius still getting caught out though. Kai'Sa just sitting still auto-attacking. They just have nothing to respond to that.
Too chunky.
Kai'Sa 14-2 here does have the Rift Herald. Red side looking to defend this turret. They will be dropping Rift and possibly running away. They're just looking at the Herald crash onto this turret.
Yeah. Like I was saying, the Miramana is almost finished for the Kai'Sa, and the Senna is only halfway there. And now she has the Nashers. I mean, the gold deficit.
Holy crap.
Sharon just...
That bot lane item disadvantage, if you guys look at the bottom of your screen, Senna sitting at basically 1.5, not even completed 2 items. In comparison to the Kai'Sa that's completed 3, just completely a huge disadvantage, almost unbearable in this situation. And what they have to do, FA Horseshoe, is almost insurmountable. What they've really got to do is they get onto the Kai'Sa. What is fortunate for them is, despite the fact that they do have such a large disadvantage from FA Horseshoe, most of the disadvantage is from the disparity between the 280 carries. If they're able to get on to the Kai'Sa, you know, with a Sylas Leona ult, with a Set ult, or a flank from the Darius or the Set, or really any of these champions, that'll be the way back into the game.
Showstopper coming out. Jett is in a very bad spot. He trades 1 for 1 here, but it's another kill on a Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa is 15-2 here. You guys might not be able to see it on your stream. Oh, go ahead, KJ.
I think at this point, you don't really mind the kills going on Kai'Sa. I mean, like we said earlier, I mean, Horseshoe definitely has the tools to lock her down. So I think it's just gonna, like, this game is just gonna revolve around if Kai'Sa dies or not.
It's definitely Rat City's game to lose here.
They're looking for a play onto the Kai'Sa, but it doesn't look like they'll get it. And we haven't even talked about this yet. There's been so much fighting. The Ocean Soul, which is coming up in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, which will make this lead from Defenders of Rat City even worse for FA Horseshoe. At that point, I don't know how you kill the Kai'Sa if he doesn't, as long as he doesn't completely miss position, with such a huge item advantage, with both of his summoners still up and the Ocean Soul, it'll become almost impossible. But we do have a Darius that does have 3 kills. Oh, but we've got
the Malzahar just able to pick. Sylas just getting caught again. The Baron is up here. The blue side is going to be looking for it. And there's just nothing Horseshoe can do to contest this.
Yeah, defenders are definitely going to look to seal the game with this Baron play here.
Poppy ult coming out just to make sure there is no chance of Set somehow getting into pit and stealing that.
And now they've perfectly set themselves up to just pick up the dragon here after this reset and look to maybe grab 1 or 2 inhibs. And at that point, I don't know what Horseshoe's going to do. I mean, Senna does no damage to minions even. Like, she's not going to do anything to the supers.
Yeah, Horseshoe here, they have a mountain to climb, and the longer the game goes on, the bigger the mountain gets.
Like, they actually have no wave clear. They have no way to deal with super minions at all. No champion on their team does damage. Like magic damage or anything, which is what you want against super minions mostly.
Yeah. You can't help but feel that maybe this is just... It just feels like a draft difference. Like, it really just feels like Blue Side's champs are just stronger. Even with how ahead they are. It just feels like their champions just work better together. They just synergize better together.
They definitely put themselves in a position to win with a composition that is set up in a way, if you get the Kai'Sa ahead, it becomes very difficult for FA Horseshoe to deal with them. And that is exactly what they did, playing to their win conditions and setting themselves up for success, and at this point making it almost insurmountable with the Ocean Soul coming up and with FA Horseshoe looking to be practically unable to contest. Defenders of Rat City getting good vision and setting up to defend it with really just the Kai'Sa taking the Ocean Soul.
That was Leona flashing out. Sylas is just gonna get Kai, is just instantly dead. Maybe a little bit overkill.
Just disrespecting.
But it's just instantly dead.
Yeah, he keeps going for these camps that are just too sketchy. Like, they have no vision. It's just, I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed with the Sylas. I think he definitely like screwed up his pathing. And like I said, he was their only chance, I think, at winning this game.
Rat City just looking to push into the base here. The Set is going to be ghosting. They might look for a play here to save their lives. Poppy ult coming out is just going to push them a few feet back. If it does manage to hit, she is going to cancel it.
Zoning
Set on the side. Rat City respecting their opponent, even with the lead they have. They are just backing off for now.
And like you said, like you said, KJ, it is important to recognize. Oh, but we've got an engage on the
Silas
Silas.
getting cut out once more. He is flashing away. The
Ooh.
ult coming
Oh,
out. Kaisa
Silas.
with the stopwatch. She is in a very bad spot right now. Her team is not there. She has to flash away. The entire red side, the showstopper coming out onto the Kaisa. She just can't do anything. Malzahar ult coming out. Red side has to retreat here. Silas using the Poppy ult. Gets 2 people out. Kaisa is still full health though, and red side just has to retreat.
The defenders just have so much CC, and they're using it well to peel and to get picks. I mean, if you get hit by 1 stun, you're going to get hit by like 5 more. It's just... The lockdown is just really good here.
So much, yeah.
They're using it really well.
Silas is connecting.
Silas's computer probably crashed there, huh?
And it looks like Ratse is just going to be closing out this game, doing exactly what we said they need to do. Get this Kaisa ahead, peel her, get everyone off of her, and that's exactly what they did. FA Horseshoe just had absolutely no response to what this Kaisa could do. They may be looking to get a few more kills here. Leona just whacking away at the Nexus, really trying to end this game. She's the only one ending the game, and the game goes to Rat City. What a game for Kaisa.
Yeah, I mean, 19 kills. I think, KJ, you were saying that this Kaisa was the highest ranked player in this lobby. Them defenders of Rat City potentially recognizing that, creating a composition that puts it all in the hands of the AD carry and being able to deliver, and that'll throw them into the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, they just played perfectly around. Like, they camped the Kaisa, and then they just peeled for the whole game. You know, the teleports came bot lane just to secure the lead. They played, you know, an excellent game, played to their strengths, and, you know, Horseshoe just had no answers.
Yeah, and then they had a slight advantage in the top lane. They had an opportunity with the Silas when Poppy spent so much time bot lane, maybe to go for the counter jungle and take the blue early, or just do some much more efficient pathing and able to create an advantage on the Silas when he wasn't being punished early. And that's just not what we saw. We saw them being able to get such a huge advantage in the bottom lane, but without FA Horseshoe to fight back and to take the necessary advantage that they needed. And it's exactly what we expect. We look at the damage graph. I mean, man, I think if you did the math, if you took all the damage from red side, I don't think it goes higher.
Oh, and
If you
Kaisa,
do
I think
some quick.
exactly. Silas,
And
we were looking to do the most damage this game for red side to be that carry, and he just couldn't pull through.
yeah, hey Alex, can you hover over the damage again so we can see the specific numbers?
Actually, if
So
I
yeah,
can run the math
you
really
do,
quickly.
roughly you get, let's say if it's 24,000 for the 24,000 for those, if you round those up to 8, plus roughly 10,000 for the Silas and the Nautilus, puts you at 33.
Yeah,
So
it's just a little bit.
the Kaisa not able to do more damage than the rest of red team, but certainly a huge amount. And this damage graph really showing what this game looks like.
Honestly, I feel like he might have flown under the radar this game just because of how ahead Kaisa was, but I'd like to point out the Leona. The Leona was just making so many aggressive plays, looking for those flash engages onto the enemy team, punishing them for overstepping. How many times did Silas die in his own jungle to Leona just flash ulting or flash engaging or just finding those hooks onto him? I feel like the Leona is just, even though with the Kaisa being so far ahead and playing how she did, I feel like the Leona is just a standout player for this game, allowing that Kaisa to get ahead and allowing their team to play as aggressive as they were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
the roams were just consistently killing people the whole game. I mean, they roamed the bot lane roamed mid twice and ended up killing Seth both times. And they killed Silas on his red buff, his Krugs, like killed him on his Gromp. Just Leona just, you know, started the chain CC, and then the rest of the team followed up. And Kaisa is excellent at following up as well, because once you get that stun off, you can just ult and secure the kill.
Yeah, and anyways, and that is to wrap up for this week. We've got the quarterfinals that we just had today with Defenders of Rat City moving on to the semifinals of the Ohio State Intramural League, BuckILoL, and we hope you see you guys next week for what we hope to be an exciting semifinal match against I believe the Buckeye Brothers Collective, which was able to what do you call it? The champions from the last BuckILoL last year against Defenders of Rat City, and with the performance they had this week, hopefully they'll be able to put up a fight against them, the 1 seed.